One must determine what they are after, chickens to eat or eggs. Let us start with eggs. For a chicken to lay eggs, no rooster is required. Roosters are for fertilizing the eggs. Despite what one hears, fertilized eggs taste no different than unfertilized eggs. Chickens need a little over 11 hours of light that stimulate their system to create an egg. As little as a 20-watt light bulb will work if positioned correctly. This will shorten the laying of a hen in the long run so that eventually she will become less dependable to production. First off, your selection in chickens. To me, equally important is a breed you select, but that may or may not be the case with you. After you select a breed, read up on it to see if it is a good layer and forager, as this will be usually told on websites that are not selling you anything. While I do believe in keeping a breed pure, one must stay away from an exhibition, show, poultry. Most times they are beautiful yet poor layers and even poorer fertility eggs. To obtain these desired traits, usually, they are line bred. Line breeding is a form of inbreeding, only controlled. You will get the best and worst chickens by using this method. There are websites that show you the proof of which breeds produce the best. If you pick a rarer breed, though, you could sell the offspring easier and for more money than a regular or crossbred chicken. As an example, let me show you this. Say you want a brown egg, a large brown egg, and you want or like a barred color chicken. Maybe you want to make your own flies for fishing, and these are expensive, and the most popular feather, I believe they are sold as grizzly feathers. A barred rock, which was developed to create a more stable laying chicken to replace the Dominiquer, which turned out to be no better. The barred rock is a cheap chicken while the Dominique is an expensive chicken. The barring pattern is slightly different, but for someone inexperienced, the easiest way is to look at the comb. Barred rocks have a straight comb while Dominiques have a double rose comb. Now, lesson 2. If you are buying chicks, pullets, females, are darker than males usually. For us, we went to the Marin, which lays the darkest egg of all. Instead of being called barred, they are called cuckoo. This way of sexing, however, only works on Dominiques and barred rocks. Yet aside from chickens being a good source of food, one can use them as pets and show them in chicken, poultry, shows. This is a hobby that both young and old can come together and enjoy this. That, however, only happens with purebred stock. They must be listed in the APA or the ABA standard to be shown. One flaw and they lose, and that includes aggression. The next question is the color of the egg and the size of the egg. One thing that might come into play is what will you be using the eggs for? Despite some sites saying there is no difference between brown eggs and baking, there is. Brown eggs used in baking will yield a more fluffy product than will white or blue or green eggs. Taste-wise there is little difference, though I believe that brown does taste better, while others claim Bantam eggs are superior due to their small size. My wife for years said she would never, ever, eat a brown egg. One morning I was scrambling eggs for breakfast and I snuck them in on her. She was in love right then and could care less if she ever ate any other color of egg. The darkest of the eggs are the Marin eggs. We have one other color, olive, which wasn't shown in that picture. Then the next question. Do you want the hens to go broody or would you rather incubate the eggs? As you can see, we incubate ours. You do not have to have an incubator this large, but no matter the type or size, get one that has a fan to create a circulated air. That enables you to set all sizes of eggs at the same time, as the universal temperature is 99.5 F. Without circulated air the temperature will vary by egg size. Most breeds will go broody and hatch their own eggs, but some are better than others. The thing is, you don't want your chickens to go broody if you want eggs. In addition to that, chickens love to eat their eggs. That said, you will need to replace your flock eventually. All of this though is a moot point if you live in the city or in a neighborhood that allows only hens. Check with your local authority or homeowners association before going too far. We all would love these free-range chicken eggs, but for the most part, it just ain't happening. Free range basically is called food for predators like hawks, owls, raccoons, dogs, and other creatures. Chickens that run loose usually don't last long, and if they do, you have to find their nest. After you rob it a few times, chickens catch on and move along. Now you have to relocate the new nest area all over again. We have some running loose, but we never get their eggs. Somehow we have gone from one extreme to another. From the concentration chicken living in a cell much like Nazi concentration camps to the free willy chicken, neither of them is a good option, but there are options in between those two options. A chicken house where you can either make your own or buy one, and the same goes for nest boxes. The chickens need a place that is dry and not overcrowded. Movable type, permanent type. IP address, log. Food. I see plenty of people mistakenly feeding just scratch only. This is like you or me trying to live, work, and stay healthy eating a piece of bread, and we'd get more nutrition from it. Birds have no stomach, they have a crawl. When you see a bird eating gravel, it is that they need something to crush it up in their crawl and digest it. If you raise guineas, they have a much smaller crawl, and so they must eating no stop. Scratch grains, cracked corn, is good for them to use to achieve this, same as a gravel. For this reason, I believe in pellets. They are already tough and packed with the proper nutrition needed to remain healthy. Chickens need at least 16% protein plus scraps from the garden, table scraps, or yard clippings, and occasionally oyster shells, etc. You can always bake eggshell. IP address, logged. Do chickens healthy? One of the most overlooked things is water. Your chickens must have clean, fresh water daily. All of our pens have enough water for 2 days, but we change it daily. Have a sponge ready in case you need to wash the water. It does not have to be human drinking clean, but clean. We keep a 2-day water supply just in case of an emergency. I cannot stress the importance of this simple step that keeps your flock healthy. Another often overlooked thing is worming. This will hold especially true with game birds like pheasants, turkeys, peafowl, etc. There is a wormer called piperazine, and it is excellent for what it does, but it only kills roundworms. It is actually a hog wormer. We do use this, but as adults, we use sheep tramadol 1 bolus crushed and dissolved, horse panacar, or cattle ivermectin, 1 cubic centimeter per gallon. If you have never wormed before or have new chickens to add, cut the dose in half. Wait a week, then do the other half. Wait 2 weeks, then a full dose. If the animal happens to be wormy, killing all the worms at once will injure, if not kill, the animal. I learned that the hard way. As a rule of thumb, most things safe for horses and sheep are safe on any animal. We worm at least twice a year. The exception to worming is waterfowl. Always make sure your wormer is water soluble, since you will be adding it to the water. Now, at the very start of this, I said you need to know what you are after, chickens to eat or eggs. The chicken you buy in the store is from young pullets that have been specially bred to grow fast, usually about 6 to 8 weeks. When I was a kid, we ate the young roosters first, then we went to the older hens that had dropped way low on egg production. I am 58 now, so that has been a few years ago. Back then we really did have chickens running loose and allowed some hens to sit, mostly because we had no idea where they were at. This is where our young roosters came from. It is from these hatchings that we got the young roosters to kill each week. The older hens were cooked in a Dutch oven, these days a slow cooker, crock pot. Cooking low and slow would make the older hens not quite as tough, yet tougher than what we buy in the store today. If raising for meat, your birds would need higher protein rated food after the chick starter feed runs out. Something like grower/finisher. They created birds for food. These quick growing birds will succumb to legs shattering, heart attack, and stroke after 8 weeks if not killed. That does not include the Cornish hen. Some breeds are good for both meat and egg production. There is much more I'd like to say. How to incubate. Game bird needs like pheasant, peafowl, turkey, quail, and the list goes on. If you are doing things differently and they are working for you, use what works best. There is much I left out, and much I'd like to tell. Perhaps another time.